Okay, you know what? The nose isn't straight, but like neither am I, so. Hey, welcome to my video. If you're from my Instagram, I love you, and if you're not from my Instagram, love you all the same. I have a question. Do you like makeup? Do you like blue eyeshadow? If the answer is yes, then I would stick around today. I am playing with my makeup and I am creating this look right here. Now, surprisingly, I don't have any new or old makeup to try today. I'm not reviewing anything. I just wanted to do my makeup for fun, and this is what came of it. So if you like makeup and a good little kiki, a good little tutorial, then I would stick around and keep watching. Right, so let me just pin my hair back and then we can get started. So as per usual, I'm using my P. Louise base and a flat brush to apply that all over my eye. Now I'm trying to make sure that I'm doing a fairly thin layer on the eye here because sometimes I get way too excited during this step and use way too much base, which means that my eye creases easier, and then any eyeshadow that I place over top of it starts creasing after a while as well, so that's not what I want. Therefore, thin layer it is. Okay, so now we're starting with eyeshadow, and first of all, I'm taking sort of a light cool toned brown and running that all over my crease and on the outside part of my eye, as this is going to be a brown and blue look. But again, I'm going to be using all cool tone browns today. I normally opt for like warmer tones of browns, which I love, but for blue, I feel like cooler is the way to go. And how all of this came about is really, I watched Miss Trixie Mattel do this video on her YouTube channel recently, and I saw the blue shade that she was using and my heart went, so therefore we're gonna be doing blue today. Obviously I'm not recreating her look at all, like it's not gonna be the same shape, it's not even gonna be probably the same shade of blue. I was just inspired by that video to do something blue, so here I am being blue today. Okay, so this is exactly what I wanted that first shade to look like right now, so I'm doing the same thing on the other eye as well. So at this point, same brush and same shade, and I'm just sort of stamping that on the outer corner of my whole eye, and I'm creating sort of a wing shape with that because that's what I want the eyeshadow shape to look like in the end, so that's where I'm placing it essentially. So sort of like that. It doesn't have to be perfect at this point. So same thing on the other eye as well. So it looks a little messy at this stage. Never mind, it's gonna get worse before it gets better. Just trust the process, okay? So now with a small detailed blending brush, this is the E36 by Sigma. I'm using an even darker brown shade in right around the outer corner, I would say, and I'm gonna push it through the middle here. And this is shade Wing It from the Be Perfect Dream Big palette. And when I get to this outer corner, I'm really making sure to stamp the shade on rather than drag, and then I'll just blend it out later. And then as usual, I'm matching the other eye. Okay, so at this point, I'm just wiping whatever's left over off of my brush, and then I'm just gonna go over the edges of wherever I just placed that color to blend it out further. Okay, perfect. So this is now very smoky and beautiful. So now for the last matte shade, I'm gonna be dipping my brush ever so slightly, okay, into a deep midnight blue type of color, and then dabbing off any excess on my hand or on a tissue or a palette if you're, you know, that girl, but I just use my hand as a palette. And then I am just going to apply that on the very outer corner of that shape we just made, being careful not to cover up that darker brown shade. Sort of like this. You could also use a black shade instead of a blue one, but the shade I'm using is called Royal from the Be Perfect Rain palette. Also, will you please look at my hand?
Not this.
I don't want to be vulgar, so let me just say this. It looks like I got into a fist fight with a Smurf. Enough said. If you know, you know. Okay, so once again, I'm wiping the excess of that shade off of my brush, and then I'm just gonna go over the edges. Okay, so at this point, I cleaned off my brush again, and I'm just gonna go back in with the same colors that I already used, but in their reverse order. So now I'm starting with the darkest brown shade called Wing It, and I'm applying it exactly where I applied it the first time, just because I want to strengthen the pigment a little bit. Of course, same over here. Now, I know I look crazy, but it will get fixed, I promise. Okay, and now I'm going back in with that lightest brown shade. That was the shade Naked from the Be Perfect Carnival 1 palette. Now from here, you could go back in with that midnight blue and then do this whole process over again. If you feel like you need to, I'll decide in a minute. I sometimes do that twice or 3 times even. Sometimes I don't. It really depends. Yeah, see, that's very pretty now. Almost no sharp lines. It's gonna be a beautiful smoky eye, but I am gonna repeat the same process one more time. So let me go do that and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So this is it. This is the final version. So with looks like these, I prefer to really take my time and apply the eyeshadow little by little, because you can always put more on, but you can't really take it off once it's there, you know? Especially if we're talking about a really pigmented shade, then you have to wipe away, and I'm not trying to do that. So did it the slow but secure way, and now I'm here. Okay, so now it's time for probably my favorite part of eye looks like these, the cleanup. So you take a little bit of foundation or concealer or whatever, and you follow your lower lash line up and just trace that line. So it's gonna look kind of like that. So then you take a regular Q-tip or a cosmetic Q-tip if that's easier for you, and you just wipe that away. And now what you're left with is this really sharp line. And as you can see, I'm really slowly stamping this line on. I'm not like drawing it on in one go, because you know, that's easier to mess up. And Q-tip, and there we go. So this time I'm just taking the foundation that I'm gonna be applying all over the rest of my face, and I'm drawing on that line again, except this time I'm not gonna wipe it away. I'm gonna blend it in, and I do that with a beauty blender. See, so now that's even sharper. And now same thing over here. Now I feel like when it comes to my eyes, they're really sisters and not twins, because one droops down a little lower than the other, but that's completely fine. So I'm gonna move on to the lower lash line. Now the lower lash line needs to give exactly what the rest of the eyes gave. So first of all, I'm going in with the royal blue and then the darker brown, and then I'm gonna blend it all out with the lightest brown shade. Okay, there we go. Now for the shimmer. So I'm gonna use the Malibu Barbie palette by ColourPop, and I'm using the shade Surf's Up. I'm obsessed with this shade. It's so perfect for this look, and I'm applying that all over my moving lid. So now I'm taking a little bit of a thicker detailed blending brush. This is the P. Louise number 117, and I'm just buffing out the edges. And same thing on this side. You know what? This shade, it really has a lot of fallout. It's kind of annoying. It's all over my desk here, but it's completely worth it in the end. So last little detail, and then I'm done. I'm dipping back into the shade Royal with a very tiny detailed brush. I'm just gonna stamp that on my upper lash line as just like a little bit of an eyeliner, but I'm not trying to go too crazy because I'm just doing this for the effect of fuller lashes later on. Here we go. So the eye look is now complete, and you know what's funny? I would call this like a soft glam moment for me currently, but that is probably not what any other sane person would call this eye look. I just might be in delusion, you know? And I'm fine with that. So moving on, I'm just gonna go apply the rest of my makeup and get right back here for the outro. And here we go. This is the finished look. I am absolutely obsessed with the eyes. This is exactly what I wanted today. Let me know down in the comments below if you like them and if you would wear something like this ever in your own life. No ma'am. Also, let me know. Let's do a poll. Is this considered soft glam? Yes or no? Let me know down below. But anyway, that's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, then please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.